Hey everybody, back with another video. The arcade buffet had dropped off these Extech 382-270 power supplies to me many months ago. I don't even know how long ago it's been, but one of them has an X on it and I assume it's not working. I haven't even powered these on yet, and I just did a little bit of research to kind of try to understand what the heck these are and what are some of the capabilities. So we got one here. It's a little bit faded on the front. These two look to be in pretty decent shape. And just a quick overview, what I've learned already that's pretty interesting is that you can run these. It's basically got two halves of the power supply. I haven't opened it up yet, but there are a couple videos online about these. You basically have 4 channels, so it can output 4 different voltages. Channel 1 and 2 are identical 0-30 volt 5 amp power supplies, which is super flexible. I mean, these power supplies I think are like $500 maybe. I did a quick search on eBay. I don't know how much they are new, but the ones I saw on eBay were like $500. So crazy. But what you can do, and here's channel 4 is 0.8 to 15 volts, 1 amp, and channel 3 is 3 to 6.5 volts at 3 amp. So, but you can run channel 1 and 2 independently with both of these out in series. So you're connecting, I think, I'm pretty sure you're connecting positive to negative. I'll confirm that. We'll actually go through that. And then you can run them in parallel. So in series, we'll basically double the voltage output. So we should be able to go all the way to 60 volts. I think at 5 amps, maybe. I don't know. I might not push it that hard, obviously. And then in parallel, we'll double the current output. So in parallel, we should be able to go to 10 amps potentially. So anyway, and you can do that with channels 1 and 2. You can adjust voltages of 3 and 4 separately, change the display of the LCD readout, and we'll cover some of that and do some testing here in a second. Alright, so the first one I'm going to test is this beige one. So this is the first one. I have it plugged in, and I have these are all out. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to turn, for a constant voltage operation, you're supposed to turn the current all the way up. And that's kind of weird that that light is flaking out a little bit. Weird. And then you have to turn this output on off to actually, I think, read any voltage. And no voltage is adjusting. Oh, there we go. I heard the relay switch on. These pots might need some good old deoxit on them or something. This should be able to, channel 2 should go all the way up to 30 volts. There we go. Wow, that's weird. 31.8. Not getting anything on channel 1. Channel 1's not working at all. What about channel 3? Yeah, I think I need to take this thing apart and deoxit all the pots for these knobs here. Yeah, see, it looks whacked out. I saw that on another guy's video as well, where the pots were acting kind of wonky. Like, see how the voltage is dropping? And this is with no load on it, so should be 0 to 15 volts. It's about 15. I'll hook up my meter as well. Alright, so yeah, I've just been experimenting a little bit. This channel 1 is definitely jacked up, but if I go... So, for constant voltage, constant current, yeah, I think it's constant, right? CV, constant voltage. Anyway, you turn your current all the way up, and then you adjust. There's a first relay at about 7.8 volts, and you can see the reading is good. Maybe a tenth of a volt, just difference there. 13 volt second relay. 20 volts another relay. And goes all the way up to about 31.6 volts. Says 0.8 there. So I probably need a different, I need probably my meter too. New battery. $31.17. Get the idea. All right, so we got to work on this one. Got something wrong with it. Plus, probably need to tear it apart. Right, this is unit number 2. The one thing is, I think it might be slightly damaged. The front is not latched in there correctly. I'm not sure. I did hear something rattling around in it, like that. But we're still going to power it on and check it out, and then I'll take it apart probably. Alright, let's power it on. That looks good. We'll turn our current. Definitely different behavior with the LEDs. See, this one moved forward right away. Went to the green as soon as I first started turning it versus the other one, which required me to turn it all the way up. So I don't know if that's what that's about. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and put the meter in here. Let's go ahead and put, oh, these are counterclockwise. Alright, get my output on. Turn to auto volts. 2.8. There's first relay. Second. Third. 31.5 volts on the nose. Nice. This one seems to be working. Let's go to channel 3. Oh yeah, it does say from 3 volts to 6.5 volts. That's what it says down there. I don't know if you can, hopefully you can see that right there. My camera's jacked up. So it is adjustable from 3 volts, and it's reading 2.7 up to 6.5 volts at 3 amps. Yeah, just about a tenth of a volt reading wrong there, but that's alright. And this one is 8 volts, should be 8 volts to 15 volts. So the range is restricted. This is 8 to 15. At 1 amp. So 3 amps here, 1 amp there, 5 amps on these, 0 to 30 volts. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So you could definitely have this be like your 12 volt power supply, this be your 5 volt power supply, and then you got 2 if you want to do a bench. I mean, 3 amps is typically enough for most boards anyway. So this seems to be working. Alright, I took off the case to this one, the working one. This is number 2. And looks like this is my problem here. Looks like that's broken. But I got a few of the pieces that I found. I'm going to super glue these back and then maybe use a washer or something to apply pressure a little bit differently. I don't know, but I'm going to try to fix that. The other thing is, look at this cap here. If you can see that cap, it almost looks like it's ready to vent. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. That cap right there. It's a 10,000 microfarad, 25 volts. Giant transformer right in the middle, and then a big heat sink with I don't know what those are, but I'm sure they're like some type of power transistor, or actually it looks like a bridge rectifier there. And then you see the relays right here. And it's almost, yeah, it's identical on the other side, but maybe just slightly different components on the other side. Interesting. I'm going to probably take this, I'm going to set it to the side for right now because I want to test the other one, but I might take this board off and test these caps as well. So we'll see. Alright, this is number 3, has the X on it, and this one, I was just looking at the back, and the outlet is just like rusted, and which is so weird. Like, how does that get rusted, but not the bolts around it? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously there's a little bit of rust there, but I'm going to take this one apart just to see what the internals are. I'm not even going to try to power it up until I clean this up, because that looks terrible. Hopefully you guys can see that. Wacky. Alright, the case is off. The first thing I notice is this one is definitely a little bit different here, where that number 2 had a 10,000 microfarad cap. This actually has 2, probably in series, I guess. I don't know, I have to look. 2 3300 microfarad caps, and then it has a resistor, that green resistor right there. Whereas this one does not have that green resistor. R407. I wonder why it doesn't have that. It almost looks like it was cut out of this one. I don't know. This one also has a ton of glue, and the other one doesn't, which, well, I guess it does have some glue, but maybe the other one was worked on or something. Yeah, this one definitely seems like it was worked on. Definitely a different, oh, I guess not. Maybe that's not different. I don't know. We're going to have to look at this thing before I power it up. And there's just glue like everywhere, which is weird. They have glue on the fuse right here for the line fuse. The wires are not, they're not using connectors. It looks like they soldered the wires directly to the connectors, which is kind of weird. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this damn thing out of there. Okay, slowly getting this thing out, and you can see the rust there probably a little bit better. There is a built-in fuse here. I didn't know how to get that thing out unless you push it from behind with that hole. I can get the fuse out that way. I haven't tested it yet. You can see a little bit of rust on the ground right there. And then this red wire here from the AC input goes to the power on off switch here, which then comes back to our voltage selector. And what's kind of interesting is they had oh gosh, now I can't think, shrink wrap over these red lines, just loose. So I don't know if that was factory or what. I mean, that looks like a very tight, I've never been able to do it that tight. That's a tight soldering job there, but why did they not actually use heat to shrink wrap that? I don't know. Kind of crazy. But anyway, that is interesting. Alright, I got most of it taken apart here. I had to desolder because they soldered the transformer, I guess not windings, but outputs or whatever, directly onto the connectors, which is just crazy. Actually, it was like this, right? So I got it out. It does look how those caps are wired. I think that's, yeah, that's in, is that in series? No, that's parallel, right? I have to look it up because I always forget. Anyway, negative's going to negative, positive's going to positive, so yeah, that's interesting. And I'm desoldering the connectors. I'm going to put the right connectors on it wherever they had them soldered and stuff. The board looks kind of junky, really. I mean, it's just like not very clean solder work in my opinion, but maybe it's just like extra solder everywhere. I don't know, it's so weird. Looks like a bridge rectifier there. Interesting. Yeah, this is AC power coming in at this connector right there, J401. And when I was pulling up some of the glue, I think I pulled that resistor there. That resistor, I don't even think it's supposed to be there like that. So it's kind of weird. And then on the bottom side we got, where is that? D1047. 2 D1047s. Yeah, and it's going to one of those bridge rectifiers there. Anyway, not exactly sure how all this works, but hopefully I can get it so it actually does work. This one, again, had the X on it, so we'll have to poke around and see what's what. Alright, I got this thing already repinned out, new connectors, as you can see there. And I actually moved that resistor to the bottom side. It looks like it was on the bottom of the other one that I have. And I have not added C401 back in yet. I need to figure out, I'm going to crack open one more, the first one, device number 1, to see what rating of caps they had, and see if I need to maybe even rig something up like this and wire it over or something like that and hot glue. I don't know, because that's kind of so crazy that they used the, probably the wrong size caps, or they didn't have them or whatever. I don't know. Here's de-rusted this. It looks better. I would like to get a Dremel in there if I could, but I think for just testing purposes I might leave it as it is, I think, and just resolder it back. So big mess that I made. I need to clean all this up and slowly put this thing back together so we can test it. This is the only one I haven't tested yet, so I'm curious to see if it will work. Alright, very interesting. Each one of these is kind of different. This has a different transformer. I forget what this is called. I'll link to the other guy's video. His had this type of transformer as well, and I just can't think of the name that's for this design. But the cap that we're in question here, this one has a single 35 volt 3300 microfarad. So my other one had two 3300s. Yeah, two 3300 35 volt caps. And the other one had a 10,000 microfarad cap that was vented. These have a little bit different kind of filtering capacitors here. These are just a different design. It's still, is it lower watt voltage? Can't remember. I can't really see it right now. 4700 microfarads. I can't see the. 63 volts. So yeah, but this one looks like it's venting. You can see it. The top is popping out a little bit there, which is kind of weird. This one didn't have, one of the channels wasn't working over here, so I don't know what's going on with that. But anyway, I just wanted to look. Also, that resistor is completely different. This is like just a coil, and it's mounted on the top. So, not sure. A little bit different components on each of these as far as that goes. But I bet if I just put in any capacitor in there, it'll be fine. Probably the higher capacitance the better, because these are in parallel, so it's going to be the equivalent of a 6600 microfarad cap, but it's kind of odd to kind of stick it in there like that. So back to number 3. I just want to show what this one looked like inside and note some of the differences there. Alright, this is power supply number 3. I got everything back together, soldered that crazy double capacitor there. That's kind of weird, but got everything plugged in correctly. I hope fixed the plug, you know, it was rusted, so everything's ready. Let's power it on. Bam! I don't know why this wasn't working before. Well, maybe it's still not working. I don't know. That looks good. Yeah, that looks good too. Maybe it was just that rusted connector in the back. Let me hook up my meter here. See if we get any voltage. Haven't done any load testing on, excuse me, on any of these. I don't know if you can see that. Well, yeah, that's somewhat okay. There we go. All right, let's go voltage. Nothing. No voltage. Why is that? Oh, because I haven't hit the output. Boop. Alright, that's a little weird. Voltage is jumping all over the place. Got 9.8 volts. 16 volts. Something's going on with the output, the display output. But it's going all the way up to 30 volts. We got some issue with our display there. What it's reading, jumping all over the place. but the voltage is definitely adjusting. As you can see, nice and smooth actually. So that's good. Let's check. Oh, you know why? This button is jacked up. I noticed that when I press this button in, it's stuck. So I think that's why it might be jumping around. Something's going on there. Let's check channel 1. See. Why am I getting any amperage? That's weird. 2.7 volts. Channel 1. Not getting anything. Alright, channel 3 is working. .7 volts. That's about right. That's channel 3. But yeah, channel 1 is not working at all. And this is jumping around because of that thingamajiggy. Interesting. Alright, I'll catch you up real quick. I ended up, to fix that button, to fix that button, I basically took the board off. And the way you kind of do it is, I just kind of put it through like this. Basically, take off all the screws to the connector, your power connectors. The knobs just pull off. So you just pull off the knobs, undo your little power hookups and stuff like that, because those go through the back, and then you got like a little screw right there. You gotta take all that off, and there's a few screws. Once you get that off, then you got this board. That's better. Alright, so, and then we had this little button here, so I just sprayed some cleaner, some electronic cleaner there, and just was working this, and now that button seems to be working okay, that switch. That one is fine. This one's a little weird, but it's working. I just sprayed some cleaner and deoxit afterwards on there and just, you know, activated them a bunch of times. But one of the things I saw was this cap right here. I don't know if you can see it. It looked like it was, the top was popped out a little bit. So I got my EDS tester on it. And I think you should be able to see that. Come on now. This cap's bad. So I'm going to replace that. It's a 1000 microfarad 25 volt. This one, the rest of the caps seem to be okay. I went ahead and tested them all. Look, I can actually get it on there. Like that. See, that's good, as you can see down there. So I tested the rest of the caps. Need to replace this one. It is the top is popping a little bit, and that goes to this whoops, goes to this, it's a 7805, L7805 something. But that was, oh, I guess that is on the right side, which was, so this cap was on the right side, which channel 1 wasn't working. And I don't know if that relay is powered by this, or maybe we weren't getting good voltages or whatever. I didn't do that test, but I'm going to replace this cap. Maybe we'll get lucky and that fixes our channel issue there. No, it's like this. That's on the left side. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fix that, but I'm still going to replace the cap. So let me do that, plug it back in, and see if we get better readings on our left side, because I cleaned out that button. The good news is this button is fixed. Got everything back together. The bad news is somehow I cannot find where the freaking knob is for channel 3. I've looked all over the place. It's disappeared on me. I don't understand it. But yeah, let's turn it on, and fixing this button here fixed the digital readout. As you can see, it's adjusting on channel 4 nice and smooth, and then on channel 1 it's adjusting. Now again, this is not under load, but it's not jumping all around. That could have been that capacitor, maybe not getting good 5 volts, but I'm sure it was probably this, or it could have been a combination. Bad news is still don't have anything on channel 2, no, channel 1, no voltage, and I don't hear any relays. Yeah. Nothing. I don't know what's going on here with my channel 1, so anyway, we'll have to come back and hopefully I can find this thing. I literally have looked all over my damn work area and I can't find the damn thing. Totally sucks. Alright, getting back to this thing. I was probing around, and I know you can't really see what I'm doing, but power's on, and I was just checking the voltage of this 5 volt 7805, I think. What do I got there? 5 volts there. And almost 5 volts, 4.99 there. And one of the things, let me see, I was experimenting with. So I think this front control board, I believe, is working okay. Let me take this off real quick. So what I was doing is, when I turn this on, obviously, I get voltage, right? I'm sorry, hold on. Turn it on, there we go. Get voltage. But nothing over here on number 1, right? But if I unplug this connector here, this red, black, and yellow is on both sides and goes to this control board. It's almost like this is some type of feedback coming from the board, and of course I don't have the service manual, but if I unplug, let me actually power off. If I unplug J302 right there on my working side and power on, then hit my output, you can see, there's no voltage or anything like that. Now, it probably because it's a feedback thing, and that's not enabling any relays or anything. I don't know. I'm just thinking that it has something to do with that. The other thing is this was getting real hot. Q104 on this side was getting real hot. And what's that over here? Q... 304. And it wasn't getting hot on this side, which is kind of weird. So I'm going to actually, I mean, it was really hot to the touch. Not right now. I have to leave it on for a while. And then it was getting really hot. So it kind of, I'm thinking something's wrong with that portion of the circuit. So that's, I'm going to pull this board off and start inspecting some components on this main board. It seemed like it was either Q104 that was getting real hot, or that resistor R, if you can get in there, R149. I just touched it and it's super hot. So I'm thinking something shorted or something screwed up over here. Alright, I think we got a clue. I pulled this Q104, it's an NPN, tested that. I pulled Q103, tested that. I looked at some of these diodes, and those look okay. And then I was like, oh gosh, what am I going to check? I flipped it over, and if you see this right there, that trace is completely burned up, and I bet that we have a bad part here, I would assume. So there is no continuity between there. Yeah, so that trace is bad. I don't know if this component's bad, but I'm going to remove it just to make sure. Looks like our bridge rectifier here is bad. KBU808G. I can do this working around the camera. That's my diode test right there. Should look like this one. Forward voltage drop here, but these two legs here are shorted. So yeah, I gotta order some of those. I might pull some parts, or I don't know. It's gonna take me a month to get these from China, I think. But mostly the parts on these are pretty common. Basically, it's or I mean, at least they're shared. It's a transistors D1047. Let's see if you can see that. D1047, and there's 1, 2, 3 per side. That's 4 of those. I bet this thing is the same bridge rectifier. So I could try pulling it from whatever that circuit is and seeing if that fixes the problem. I'm kind of just curious if that is the same one. I bet it is. Yeah, I mean, the parts are pretty common. I mean, there's not a lot of parts. I also just pulled this resistor and checked it. It's 150 ohms. That R149, and it's measuring correctly at 100. So it was really hot, and I was worried about it not being correct reading anymore. So could be just that bridge rectifier, and then fix this little trace, and maybe we're back up and running. Alright, I took out the bridge rectifier from right there. I don't know what that location is, but I'm pretty sure that's driving power supply number 3, channel 3. So I took it out there, put that, fixed the trace. I'm not plugging in this blue line, which goes to that bridge rectifier for channel 3, but I think everything else is plugged in correctly. So let me power this thing on and see if we can't find that knob. I've gone through my basement like crazy. Alright, let's power this on. Hopefully nothing smokes. Alright, that's good news. Boom. We got output on channel 1 and channel 2 is working. Nice. So that's a relatively easy fix. I just won't have anything on channel 3, as you can see. Nothing on channel 3, of course. But channel 1's working. Channel 2's working. Yeah, nothing on channel 3. I gotta get a knob or find the one. Well, it's crazy because I rewatched the video and it was sitting right here. Literally, and then something fell, it went somewhere, and I can't find it. Alright, good news. Got some parts from China. It's been several weeks, and I've just put this to the side anyway. Got some new parts from China. KB. Let's see here. There we go. KBU 808. Honestly, I probably could have looked up a replacement part for it and got it in the US, and who knows if this is a real, part. You never know, I guess. Got it off of eBay, I think, so who knows. But I'm going to use it, and it tested fine with the diode test. The other good news is I was just this morning, I had given up looking for that knob, but I was like, oh, maybe it fell into one of these pockets, and I took this out, and lo and behold, there's the damn knob. So I did find the knob, thank God, but I was looking all over the place. So let me replace, I gotta take this board out, solder this back in, and like that. Yep, that's the right way. Right there for my channel 3. Retest it, put it back together, and we'll have a working power supply. Alright, got that bridge rectifier soldered back in, the board's back in. Turn it on. Turn on our outputs. Channel 1's working. And channel 3 is working. 3 volts to 6 point something. So that looks good. Channel 2's working. Channel 1. Alright, I'm going to put this back together and then let's do some amp load testing.